Our country is facing a really tremendous tragedy in Bangladesh. I know you are in a finance committee, and I think you are aware of a big amount of money lost from Bangladesh Bank. Government is blaming squarely American Federal Reserve. Whereas American Federal Reserve, there is no failure in their part. The son of Prime Minister of Bangladesh was in charge of the cyber security and network security. As our congressman, do you think you're going to clarify our community people that, listen, America do not have any responsibility because there is no failure?
In terms of the representation in the 8th Congressional District, it's also my honor to represent one of the largest Bangladeshi Americans, Bengali communities in the nation. The people that I serve care a lot about what's happening in Bangladesh, and so I care a lot about what's happening in Bangladesh, both as it relates to democracy and ensuring that the citizens of Bangladesh have an opportunity to participate in a system free of intimidation or oppression or voter suppression in any way, shape, or form. And certainly many of us here in Congress who are part of the Bangladesh caucus continue to be concerned about making sure that democracy is as open as possible in that country, related to both voter participation and related to the freedom of the press. In terms of the economic situation, I'll have to look more into it in terms of my familiarity, but obviously I think that the responsible parties both should be held accountable to ensure that the taxpayer dollars are being spent in an efficient way that actually goes to benefiting the people of Bangladesh. On the Financial Services Committee or the Committee on Foreign Affairs, I do sit on Judiciary as well as the House Committee on Education and the Workforce, but it's something that I will certainly look into and make sure that we can clarify whatever misunderstanding or ambiguity might exist.
Congressman, one thing, Sadi introduced you, the gentleman. Right after our independence, the Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, he killed his father and went to the national parliament and says, where is that Shiraz Sheikh? If that is the voice of a leader, do you think his daughter, the way killing people and on the street, people are getting killed? I know US shows humongous amount of courage and pushing government, whole free and fair election under a caretaker government. But other than insulting US policy, Bangladeshi government, current government is doing nothing. Do you think America should come up a little bit more bold plan so that they hear exactly what is the vision of America in regards to Bangladesh?
Yeah, about a year ago or so, I had the opportunity to write a letter to Secretary Kerry to express some concerns as it relates to some of the things that were happening in Bangladesh that were brought to my attention by many of the people that I represent. And so I think the question is going to be moving forward as President Obama and the Obama administration in this final year continue to talk about pivoting to Asia, and Bangladesh, of course, being in South Asia and as an overall part of that context, that we begin to figure out how to further clarify our relationship, both in terms of geopolitics, but also as it relates to any military cooperation and any economic cooperation, because there are also some concerns with making sure that Bangladeshi factory workers and others have an opportunity to work, receive decent wages, and do it in a safe and humane environment. So there's a lot of issues that will need to be addressed. In terms of the current government, obviously I think that any government that we interact with has got to operate within the constraints of human rights laws that we believe are important here in the United States that are consistent with democracy, and to the extent that a government that we interact with is not doing so, that would be problematic.
America is very vocal and support the democracy and safety of its citizens, as well as they preach democracy all over the world. Whenever it's come, President Barack Obama said again and again, if a country's government cannot protect their own citizens, that government is not legitimate. If under Awami League government, people are getting killed on the street, under what circumstances we see in the civilized world that consider them as a government?
That information being presented so I can review it, and not just review it, but share it with my other colleagues in the New York delegation, more importantly, with my colleagues who are part of the Bangladesh Caucus and some of my colleagues who are on the Foreign Affairs Committee, two of which actually happen to be New Yorkers. In fact, the lead Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee is Elliot Engel from the Bronx.
Yes.
Grace Meng is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and for that matter, Representative Gregory Meeks as well. And so I think there's a collection of members from the New York delegation who will be concerned about this issue, particularly given the size and importance of the Bangladeshi American community that I serve in the Congress. But also, I'll make sure that it gets distributed to all the other members so we can try to speak with one collective voice. And reaching out to other members of Congress, because the more information that we can receive from the community and the more information that we can communicate back, the better we can do our jobs as members of the House of Representatives.
Congressman, thank you very much for your time. You are so kind for having us.
Thank you very much.
Sir.